Logomisia. Now, do you suffer from it, Christoph?
Don't think I do. What about you?
I think I do a bit.
She probably does.
Language is a powerful thing. Take this word, Logomisia.
Now, you might not know what it means, but there's quite a strong possibility that you suffer from it. Because having logomisia means that you have a hatred of a certain word. Now, you're not just mildly irritated by this word's use, its overuse, or its misuse. Oh, no. You have a quite irrational, very strong, stomach-twitching horror of the word.
The wrong words used in the wrong place can have a remarkable effect.
Oh la la, who has done this? Whose idea is this to put the food on the plate with bad words written on them like this? It's a stupid idea. Is it your idea? Well, it's my idea of nonsense. What's with your parents? Ridiculous thing to do. La la, la la.
In a controlled experiment, a psychologist found that people were less likely to eat the portion of food which touched an objectionable word.
It seems that the mere physical presence of the word is enough to put some people off their food. Reading the word triggers something in the brain that can affect the appetite.
It's a strange phenomenon which amazingly affects up to 1 in 5 of us. Another term for it is word aversion, an intense dislike of certain words.
It's like slippery, I hate that word. It makes me think I'm going to slip over any second. I think I'm going to slip over now, I'm going to stood still.
You wouldn't say vomit,
no,
it just is a horrible, horrible word.
Sick.
And is it the sound of it as well, like the V and yeah.
I dislike that word swat. Revise is fine, but not swat. Don't like swat.
As psychological impairments go, word aversion is a pretty mild one. But if you're a journalist like Tom Chivers, who writes for the Daily Telegraph, it can apparently be very irritating.
It just sets you off the wrong way, like nails on a blackboard. You hear it and you sort of tense up.
Have a look at this and tell me what you think of it.
Slippery. I think this comes from a very specific thing, which is a Bon Jovi album from 1986 called Slippery When Wet. Just think, slippery, oh God, it creeps me out every single time. You associate the word itself with something unpleasant, something sort of slippery and...
Words beginning with slut in general, there's something about them which is negative and slimy and soothing of the slug. Now, would you ask people not to use these words in your presence?
No, I would never do that, but I would just cringe a little when they use them. These words are unpleasant, and if I will rather than cure myself, I will cure the world and explain to the world just how wrong and unpleasant these words are.
So what is it about a jumble of letters which, when we put them in a certain order, make rational men like Tom go... The research shows that moist is the most commonly hated word, although it can be a perfectly pleasant thing.
Keeping everything moist. It's lovely and moist.
It's a bit moist there.
Jeff Pullum is Professor of General Linguistics at the University of Edinburgh.
Nigel Slater, who's my cooking hero, he has a recipe for a moist lemon and thyme cake. And it's a wonderful cake, and you wouldn't want it not to be moist. Certainly Nigel wouldn't.
The sound, the phonology of the word seems impossible to use as a basis for explaining the aversion. Moist rhymes with rejoiced. And nobody objects to that when they hear it in a Christmas carol or something. It's all about the social associations and the psychological connections. There must be some occurrences that for some people are just a little bit icky, and the word reminds them of that. There may not be any particular thing that word aversion means about us. It may just be random flickering of the flames of our thinking.
So the next time somebody says something and you find yourself getting all twitchy for no apparent reason, it could be because you, like me and millions of others, suffer from logomisia. And sadly, there is no cure. Although somebody did once come up with a cream for it, but a lot of people found it too...
Dark, squishy and moist.
Oh, Nigella.
Not a fan of the moist.
So you have a phobia for one word in particular, but it's more of a literal hatred of this word, isn't it?
Astrology.
Why?
Why?
Because people call me an astrologer sometimes.
And you're not,
astrology is a rather more ancient form
They
of
mix you
astronomy.
up with Russell Brand.
Astronomy without knowledge.
Okay. It's all right. We're only live on BBC One. It's fine.